The message arrived at the worst possible time. I was halfway through dismantling the plasma coupler of a mining freighter when my wrist console chimed with the unmistakable tone of a high-priority contract. I wiped grease from my hands and opened the message. A single line of text glowed across the screen. Urgent repair required, unknown vessel. Remote sector, high pay. I frowned. Remote sector jobs were rarely good news. Ships stranded out there were usually damaged beyond easy repair, and the owners were often desperate enough to cut corners on safety. But the payment figure made me blink twice. It was 5 times my normal rate. All right, I muttered. That's suspicious. Still, a mechanic doesn't turn down that kind of money. 2 hours later, I was flying my repair shuttle through a silent stretch of space beyond the usual trade lanes. The coordinates pointed to a forgotten region near a cold dwarf star, the kind of place only smugglers or explorers bothered visiting. Or wrecks. As I approached the destination, my scanners picked up the vessel. I nearly choked. The ship was massive. It floated in darkness like a wounded giant, sleek black hull, long sweeping wings, and strange glowing patterns running along its surface. Even with the power mostly offline, the craft radiated a quiet, intimidating presence. "This isn't a cargo ship," I whispered. My shuttle's computer couldn't identify the design. No registry. No known manufacturer. Which meant one thing. Alien. I swallowed. Humanity had only been part of the interstellar community for 20 years. Most alien ships I'd seen were completely different from ours, but this one looked advanced. Dangerously advanced. Too late to turn back now, I sighed. I docked my shuttle against the vessel's outer maintenance hatch and sealed the airlock. The interior lights flickered as I stepped inside. The corridor was enormous, tall enough that even a large alien species could walk comfortably. The walls were made of dark metallic material that felt warm to the touch, pulsing faintly with energy. The ship wasn't completely dead, just barely alive. My scanner chirped. Critical system failures everywhere. Propulsion array offline. Shield grid damaged. Core stabilizers fluctuating. "Yeah, you're definitely broken," I said. Whoever owned the ship had taken serious damage. I followed the maintenance conduits deeper into the vessel until I reached the engineering chamber. And then I stopped, because someone was already there. She stood beside the central reactor, tall and elegant, her posture calm but powerful. Alien. Her skin shimmered with a faint silver tone, and long strands of dark blue hair floated around her shoulders in the ship's low gravity. Her eyes glowed softly, like distant stars. And she was watching me. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then she said, in perfectly clear English, "You are the mechanic they sent." Her voice was smooth and controlled. I raised my hand slightly. Yeah, that would be me. She studied me like I was some interesting animal. "You are human. That obvious?" "Very." She tilted her head slightly. I did not expect her kind to respond to the request. "Well," I shrugged. The pay was good. That seemed to amuse her. A faint smile touched her lips. "You value currency more than fear." "Usually," I said. She stepped aside from the reactor. "You may begin your work." I nodded and approached the console. Within seconds, I understood why the job paid so well. The reactor core had been hit by some kind of energy weapon, destabilizing the entire power grid. Half the ship's systems had shut down to prevent catastrophic meltdown. Whoever attacked this vessel had nearly destroyed it. "Wow," I murmured. "You're capable of repairing it?" she asked. "Maybe," I said honestly. "Depends how much damage there is." I started pulling open access panels and connecting diagnostic cables. The alien woman remained nearby, watching everything carefully. Too carefully. You seem nervous, I said after a few minutes. I am cautious. About me? Yes. I chuckled. I'm just a mechanic. That remains to be seen. Something about her tone made me glance up. Okay, now I'm curious. What exactly happened to this ship? She hesitated. Then she answered quietly. We were attacked. By who? Enemies. Helpful, I muttered. She didn't elaborate. I spent the next hour repairing power conduits and stabilizing the reactor flow. Slowly, lights flickered back to life throughout the engineering chamber. The ship hummed louder as systems awakened. The alien watched the entire time. Finally, I leaned back and wiped sweat from my forehead. Core stable again. Not perfect, but it'll hold. She stepped closer to the reactor display. Her glowing eyes studied the data. You repaired it quickly. Been doing this a long time. You are impressive for a human. I'll take that as a compliment. She nodded slightly. Then the ship's sensors suddenly came online. Alarms began ringing. My console flashed red. That's not good, I said. What is happening? She asked sharply. I scanned the data. Multiple ships entering the sector. Her expression changed instantly. Cold. Dangerous. How many? She demanded. 8, no, 9 vessels. Her voice lowered. They have found us. Friends of yours? I asked. No. Outside the hull, faint lights appeared in the darkness. Warships. They surrounded the damaged vessel like wolves circling prey. I turned to her. Look, I don't know what kind of situation you're in, but I'd really prefer not to get vaporized today. She stared at the approaching ships. They are hunters. That sounds bad. It is. My shuttle scanners zoomed in on the enemy fleet, and suddenly my stomach dropped. These aren't pirate ships, I said. What are they? They're military vessels. Her glowing eyes narrowed. Yes. I frowned. Why would a military fleet hunt one damaged ship? She didn't answer. Instead, she looked at me. Can you repair the engines? I checked the diagnostic panel. Maybe, but it'll take time. How much? 30 minutes. Her expression hardened. We may not have that. Outside, the enemy ships began powering weapons. A message appeared on the ship's communication screen. A harsh alien voice echoed through the chamber. Unidentified vessel. Power down all systems and prepare to be boarded. I looked at her. Okay, that definitely doesn't sound friendly. She stepped toward the command console. They will not take this ship. You sound pretty confident for someone with broken engines. She turned to me, and for the first time, I saw something terrifying in her eyes. Power. Ancient power. You do not understand what this vessel is, she said. I folded my arms. All right, enlighten me. She took a slow breath. This ship is the flagship of the Aurelian Dominion. Never heard of it. You will. She looked directly at me. And I am its ruler. My brain froze. Wait. I blinked. Ruler? Yes. You mean like captain? No. She stepped closer. I am the supreme sovereign of the Aurelian Dominion. My mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. You're telling me? I just spent the last hour fixing the personal ship of an alien emperor? Empress, she corrected calmly. I stared at her. You've got to be kidding. She wasn't. Outside the ship, the enemy fleet launched attack drones. The hull shuddered. I groaned. Of course. Of course the random repair job turns out to be the empress of an alien empire being hunted by warships. She watched me carefully. You are surprisingly calm. Honestly, I'm too tired to panic. The ship shook again as weapons struck the weakened shields. She turned toward the reactor. Can you restore the engines? Yes, I said, already moving. Then do it. I grabbed my tools and sprinted toward the propulsion chamber. If the engines came online, this ship might escape. If not,
Well, I didn't want to think about that.
the propulsion array was a mess. Burned circuits, melted conduits, energy feedback everywhere. But the core power was stable now, which meant I had a chance. Behind me, the Empress entered the chamber. Her presence filled the room like gravity. "How long?" she asked. 15 minutes if nothing explodes. Acceptable. Outside, explosions echoed through the hull. The enemy fleet was getting closer. I worked faster. Cables snapped into place. Power lines rerouted. Systems rebooted. 10 minutes. The engines flickered to life briefly, then died again. "Come on," I muttered. Another blast rocked the ship. The Empress placed a hand on the wall, steadying herself. "You fight well under pressure," she said. "Mechanics don't survive long if they panic." 5 minutes. I forced the last power conduit into position. The engine display glowed bright blue. "Online." I grinned. "Got it." The Empress moved instantly to the control console. The ship roared as the massive engines awakened. Outside, the enemy ships fired again. But this time the flagship moved.
Fast.
Stars stretched into lines as the vessel accelerated away from the trap. Within seconds, the hunters were left behind. Silence returned. I collapsed against the wall, breathing hard. "Well," I said, "that was exciting." The Empress turned toward me slowly. Her glowing eyes studied me with something new. Respect. "You saved my ship," she said. "And your life," I added. "Yes." She walked closer. "In my empire, such an act earns great honor." "That's nice," I said tiredly. She considered me carefully. "Human mechanic. Name's Daniel." "Daniel," she repeated. "You will come with me." I blinked. "Come with you where?" "To my empire." Why?" "Because," she said calmly, "I require someone who can repair the flagship of the SupremeRuler while under enemy fire." I laughed nervously. "I think I'd prefer going back to my little workshop." Her faint smile returned. "I am afraid that is no longer possible." "Why not?" She gestured to the stars ahead. "We are already traveling faster than light." I stared at the navigation screen. She was right. My shuttle sat docked behind us, and the ship was jumping across the galaxy. "Well," I sighed, "I guess I just got promoted." The Empress looked amused. "Yes," she said, "you did." And somewhere deep in space, a simple mechanic from Earth became the chief engineer of an alien emperor's flagship. Whether that was the best day of my life, or the beginning of the biggest mistake I'd ever made, I still wasn't sure.